Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Dan Goes Outdoors YouTube channel. If you're new around here, think about subscribing. I try to put out a video every Sunday morning, so that's what you get in return. And today I'm out doing another overnighter. Possibly got about maybe 30 hours of fishing ahead of me here at my favourite big pit. Unfortunately, the weather is going to be terrible. It's going to be really windy, and potentially tonight it might even get down to like 1 or 2 degrees. So yeah, I'm just really keen to get my rods out now and get settled. I've already found my spots to fish over. Sorry I didn't show you that, but as I said, the weather's going to turn, so what I'm really rushing to do is just get one rod out and fishing, just so I am fishing, and then I'll put my bivvy up and I can do everything else at my own pace really. On these sort of waters, which are really weedy, quite horrible. I just want to find spots. Once I've got where I'm fishing and it's all clipped up and wrapped out, I find that I can then chill out a little bit and do everything else at my own pace. So yeah, I'll get one rod out, get the bivvy up, and maybe explain a little bit more detail where I'm fishing and how I'm fishing it. So my bivvy's up, which meant I could set up this second rod a lot better. So we'll get this out and then probably follow it with about maybe 6 bombs over top. Not a lot of bait because it has been very cold and it's only going to get colder. Okay, so that's 2 rods out on an open water spot. 6 bombs turned into 4 because I had to make 7 casts to get those 4 bombs because it just wasn't opening, and I don't know, I get really fed up with bombs. I think they obviously serve a purpose and they're relatively good at what they do, but someone really needs to get a grip of that thing and improve upon it. Yeah, the wobble when you first cast, and then the fact that every now and again they don't open, and especially when you're fishing at a kind of awkward range where it's not a full wind up overhead cast, but it's also not just a lob. I don't know, you know, it just doesn't seem to open every time and really annoys me. But anyway, yeah, so 2 rods out in open water. What I'm going to do now is my left hand rod's going to go out to the left towards the island there, which apparently has done a big fish in the last few days. So yeah, hopefully there's some fish there. It's where I saw some fish last time I was here, but I was fishing around the other side that time. So yeah, pretty confident, to be honest. And I think if fish are in this area, the reason I picked this swim is because when I got here this morning, I saw one roll in front of this spot and I didn't see anything elsewhere. So that was kind of decision made for me. So yeah, if there's fish out here, relatively confident we could catch them. Okay, that's my rods out, and yeah, reasonably happy with them. So just to recap, 2 rods out in open water with a bit of bait over top of them, and then my rod off down the side there, just sort of up the marginal slope of the island, I think. And yeah, I ended up using a mini spom just to put a little bit of bait over top. That's just a trap, is that rod. All I'm looking to do there is stop a fish as it goes around the island, so it doesn't need a lot of bait. So hopefully that's just a nice little perfect trap. Worryingly, in between me and my spot there does seem to be quite a bit of weed. It's not quite the devil's pubes out there, but it's pretty thick, so I've already had to mess with my bobbins a little bit because I think the weed's moving a bit and affecting my line, so I'll have to keep an eye on that, especially as the wind gets up. But yeah, we'll just play it by ear. But anyway, bivvy's up, bed chair's out, so I think I'm just gonna chill out a bit. Okay, it's just gone about 5, and since we last spoke, which was about 8:30, absolutely nothing has happened apart from the wind has been really strong, up to 40-mile-an-hour gusts, it said on the weather app. But from now onwards, it should be getting a little bit stiller. And yeah, what I decided to do is have an early tea, so kettle's on now, because last time I was down for the night I left it all a bit late and I was doing it all in the dark. Yeah, I've got to remember it's still early April, and you know, those long summer evenings aren't quite here yet. But on the plus side, it's going to be quite settled during the night. It's only going to get, you know, the wind is only going to get less and less. So hopefully tomorrow morning when the sun comes out, I'll be in a good position for a bite. That's what I'm hoping. You know, I don't really like doing the night, just hoping for the morning, but yeah, you never know. So get this pasta, chill out for a bit, have a beer, and then redo these rods. Okay, so that was my last recast of the day. I tend to always do a recast sort of just on dark. I like to know everything's well presented throughout the night, because once I know they're happy, I might end up leaving them throughout the next morning as well. And yeah, my right hand rod went in first time, my left hand rod went in first time, middle rod 4 times. So yeah, I'll take that in this wind. 6 casts to get 3 rods out, that's fine by me. And then baiting up was really good. The mini spawn is an absolute revelation to me. I've owned one for ages, but I've never used it. It's perfect for just topping back up again, and even in this wind, just being able to really whip it through the wind rather than trying to like pile a big heavy spawn through it. That was great. And yeah, I like the fact that I'm using less bait, but I'm still achieving the same sort of spread of bait, if you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, buzzing about that. So tidy everything away. Got the Terminal downloaded tonight, the old Tom Hanks film. Love Tom Hanks. And yeah, just chilling the bivvy for a bit, and fingers crossed we get a carp. Well, I'm not sure how much you caught of that. I'm having to keep my voice down because I've got anglers either side of me. But I've got one in a net in the middle of the night. I don't even know what time it is. I'm trying to keep one eye closed so I don't ruin my night vision. But I haven't even looked at it yet, but looks like a decent fish. Come on. bang on £18. Middle of the night, got a gorgeous £18 original, I think. That is spot on. Really cold fish, like a block of ice. That's amazing, come on. Show you the other side because this fish is immaculate. That's brilliant. Oh, we're still in April, early April. 5-day sessions, 2 overnighters. And we got one. Yes. Okay, a few photos and we'll get it back. Good morning, and what an incredible morning it is. Perhaps not the greatest fishing conditions considering it's still really cold, but it's so bright, and I need this because I need all my gear drying off. But yeah, it's about, well, it's just gone past 8:30. I would normally be up earlier looking for fish and that, but I haven't caught that fish in the night and not slept well because in the early part of the night it was horrible. The wind and the rain was just savage. So yeah, I'm pretty tired, pretty groggy this morning, but really happy to have caught that 18-pounder. I think it was 18 pounds and 1 ounce, but I'm not worrying about that. That'll do. I'll call it an 18. Yeah, some of you southern guys might be like, an 18-pounder? I go to Linear and catch 10 of them. Well, you know, that's not where we are. There's not that many fish in here at all. In fact, there's not that many fish in this whole area that are like that. So yeah, really happy to have caught it and to have got off the mark in early April. That's brilliant. I think it's probably, I think I've caught fish earlier than this, but it's one of the earliest fish I've caught from this lake. But anyway, I'll quickly show you the rig. This isn't the exact rig, obviously that's back out there. So normally there'll be some putty around that, not there to counterbalance the pop-up. But it's my hinge stiff rig that I love to use. So one of those lead clips with a swivel built in, so the lead has no choice but to come off if the fish does plough into weed. I tend to push the tail rubber on about 2/3 of the way, so often I'll land the fish and the lead like I did last night, but when the weed's really heavy and it goes through a big weed bed, that lead will come off and you can land the fish a lot easier. Anti-tangle sleeve, about 7 to 8 inches of semi-stiff coated braid. That forms the boom, so that pushes everything away nicely. And one of the things I love about this rig is, as long as I hit the clip, I rarely get tangles with it. Everything's so like, well, it just can't go back on itself, and I normally have about 12 inches of rig tubing behind there as well, so yeah, very rarely tangles. As long as you make a nice cast, it's spot on. The pop-up was a bit lower on the rig that I caught it on, probably about there, and yes, same hook, size 6 chod type hook with a white pop-up, and that's one of those sent from hells, and yeah, Sophie loves me using them, believe me. She hates it when I come back from a carp session. I've been using them, but boy do they work. And I've got a thing about white boilies at night, they seem to really work well. I don't particularly believe in one colour being better than another, to be honest. I think if they're bright, they're bright. But But yeah, white ones at night have done well for me, so there might be something in that, I don't know. But anyway, what am I going to do now? Probably not a lot, because I've caught a fish. I don't really feel the need to hang on too long today, and I've got quite a few jobs to do at home. So I think I'll give it until about 12. 11's always been a good bite time for me, so we'll fish that through. Trying to resist recasting. I want to gain more confidence leaving rods out longer, so I'm making less noise in theory. But yeah, have my breakfast and enjoy this early April sunshine. I've decided to at least put the last of my mix out. I've only got a little bit left, maybe 3 or 4 mini spoms, and yeah, I don't think it'll last another session, so I might as well get it in now working for me. So as I like to do, I'm currently sat down with my rods just about a metre in front of me. I do this quite often, get close to my rods, especially in morning periods where I think it might happen. I don't know if it's just me trying to will it to go, but actually at the moment I'm getting some slicks coming up off my bait, which, if you don't know, is where fish, carp, tench, things like that are feeding on your bait. They disturb the oil that's trapped in, say, the boilies and the pellets. That rises to the surface and you get a little bit of sort of a shimmery flat spot appear, and that's happened I think 3 times now. So yeah, I'm pretty expectant. You never know. I always think mid-morning there seems to have a good feed on here, and that's what's going on right now. But anyway, thought I'd get a bit more interaction going on the channel and try to answer a few comments from my past videos and give you guys a few shout outs at the same time. So this is from, well, as you guys will be watching it, it'll be my second to last video, because there'll be a video uploaded this weekend and this one will come out after it. And in that video I think I caught 4 tench. It's hunting carp catching tench, if you've not watched that one. And quite a few of you ask about the tench and why I don't just target them. We've got Andrew Tate, he actually wants to know about the tench rig, so we'll try and go into that. James Gregory, Rock Dogization, he says he fishes for tench and ends up catching carp. If only. T-Murder, Rich Peas, all of you lot are just really interested in the tench. Fishing with Mr. W, he says that he's even a tench fisherman, and all these tench I'm catching are making him jealous. I can promise you I'm not targeting them, but I tend to think of fishing more in terms of just fishing in general. Like, even though I'm hoping for carp, really I'm just fishing. It's only really pike fishing where you can only catch the pike when you're dead baiting, that is, and even then you might get a perch or an eel or something. So I try not to pigeonhole myself and say, oh, I'm a carp fisherman, I'm this, that and the other. I'm just out fishing, and you know, if I was to catch an 8-pound tench right now, that would mean loads to me. But I do love big carp. When I put that 18-pounder on the mat yesterday, I've got to admit, I thought it was a 20-pounder at first, and yeah, it's amazing to see just such a big lump of fish. Like, I love that. I have targeted tench here in the past, and when I've done it, this is for you, Andrew, what I've done is used really scaled down carp rigs. So actually still fishing a pop-up, but more like a 10 or a 12mm pop-up with a size 10 hook. Still using coated braid as a hook material, but stripping back the last inch, so it's got that kind of pivot point, that soft bit to sit upright, and you know, maybe like a #1 shot to balance that little pop-up. And then all I do feeding wise is just not necessarily use as carpy a mix. In my mix is normally some corn, some pellets and quite a lot of boilies. So what I'll do is I'll take away a lot of those boilies, or I won't use any whole ones. It'll be like quarters or even eighths of boilies, so you know, cut them in half and cut them in half again, so you get lots of little bits down there. And then maggots really sort the tench out. Of course everything likes them, but tench in particular. And on weedy venues I've found that they'll stay around a long time for the maggots. I think the maggots get all stuck in the weed, and the tench can spend ages rooting them out. So yeah, that's how I would go about it, or how I have in the past. Only a couple of times, and both times I think one time I got half a dozen tench in an evening, which was fantastic. And yeah, on that session what I was doing was getting a spawn, putting in a handful of maggots, following that up with a handful of the mix I just said, so mainly corn, pellets and a few broken boilies, and wanging it out. And that also stopped the problem of having the maggots sat in my mix, making it all go absolutely manky. You know, you can keep the maggots separate and just put as many in or as many little as you like, which yeah, worked really well those couple of times. I think I also caught a big bream as well doing that. But yeah, for the time being, I just love the carp, and of course you catch tench at the same time, especially on a lake like this. It's got such a small number of carp. You know, the tench massively outnumber them, so I'm fine with that. But anyway, hopefully that answers your questions. And yeah, we've got about another hour and a half here, so with those fish still slicking up, hopefully those rigs are presented and might get another run. And that's that. We've run out of time today.